Hello everybody, me again, Frockmania, Eco-Frockmania. Welcome back to Groundswell Ecosystems YouTube channel. This is Nicola Kench. Welcome to Project Alteration, Ultimate Home Couture, making the ordinary extraordinary, coveting what you own and glamming it up for Mother Earth. Today it is the fourth video in a series of 6 clothes alterations, key skills. The reason why we want to alter our clothes, we want to specialize them, we want to make them better, not worse, is because we want to slow down our consumption of quick fashion, which has a huge effect environmentally. So we're getting into enjoying what we own more, not less. Anyhow, today I have this dress on, okay? Sorry, it does make me laugh. Today what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about making a dress shorter. Okay, now, quite frankly, I have immediate concerns. Now, I did actually alter this one. I made it shorter. I put in these little things and everything like that. Blah, blah, blah. All right, historically, about a month ago. But the minute I put this dress on, I have some quite significant concerns that literally I look like a grown woman. I look like a grown woman dressing up as Bo Peep. Okay, like literally like little Bo Peep, like what's his name, had a sheep, etc. Okay. I absolutely, categorically look like a little Bo Peep, dress up Halloween, little Bo Peep. Like all I need is like a drag along, like soft fluffy sheep and like a stick. And I'm done for. I'm like little Bo Peep, I'm done. I'm cool, I'm good to go. Okay. So for this very reason, not actually wanting to traipse around the pavements, looking like I'm looking for my lost sheep. No. Okay, I'm trying to sharpen up my look. I'm trying to sharpen up my look, yes. Away from the whole Bo Peep vibe. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shorten this dress. I'm going to make it a little bit more I'm going to make it a little bit more modern. I'm going to make it a little bit more... Well, I'm sorry, I'm making this up. Clearly, I'm going to make it a little bit more... Sorry. I clearly find myself hilarious. Okay. I'm going to make it a little bit more city-friendly and a little bit less lost Bo Peep. Right. So because this is quite a long little, like... number. All right, okay. What I'm going to do is the very first thing is I want to get it exactly sort of round about here on my knee. All right, making the dress shorter, frock power. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a very first cut in which I do a rough cut where I get a rough sense of where I'm going hemming wise. Right. So here we go, down, down, down. So round about here, I'm making a note there for myself, so I'm just going to dash off screen and get a pin. I'm just going to quickly bring this up to the screen. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? That's a giant pin. Unbelievably useful. See, my life revolves around things that are extraordinarily useful, and this is an extraordinarily useful pin for the record. Right, in case you ever wanted to know about such things. Right, so here we go. So I'm pinning this so I know that that is going to hit somewhere in the middle of Bo Peep's shin. Right, so it's going to give me a rough idea of my first cut, so that obviously my hem, when I fold it up, is not going to be this gigantic piece of Bo Peep fabric. Anyhow, okay, so there you go. So that's the very first thing I'm going to go do, is I'm going to go do a big chop, and I will record that so you can see what it is like to do a big chop, a satisfyingly big chop. Yes, big chops are good. Think big, think big. Think glamming it up for Mother Earth. Don't hold back. Hello there, everybody. Bo Peep is back. Yes, right. Having done something slightly injurious, I am going to have to do a retro film. It's a new term, all right, on what I just did. Okay, so what you do here is you take that pin on the edge, you align the front of the dress with the back of the dress, and I'm going to just literally... I'm literally just going to like fake cut here. Okay, so you start cutting on the side, and as you cut, I'm mimicking this. I'm actually recreating this historically, like from 3 minutes ago, because cough cough, it's evident that what I did is I actually filmed it, and it was photographing. It was stills, not not video. But as you go along, you fold over. This is a recreation of the scene effectively of the crime, basically. Right, you go along, vroom, vroom, vroom. That's a recreation. Scissors, and you do this. Oopsie, oops. You do this all the way along, okay, so that you have this piece of fabric left, okay, which is your main extra, and there's plenty here. I am much fond of this pattern, so I'm certainly going to use this for something else, definitely. They'll probably land up on my head or something. Anyhow, so that you go, Bo Peep is going citywide, and now I'm going to discard that like a Roman emperor with a chicken bone, boing, over my shoulder. There we go. Nice big, by the way, nice big dressmaking scissors. Snippety snip. There we go. So I'm completely obsessed that I'm now Bo Peep. Obviously, I think it's like the funniest thing I've ever heard. Right, so now I'm just going to show you the length of the dress much shorter. I'm showing you the length of the dress as it is now, much shorter than before. Right, what I am going to do from now on is I'm actually going to do my first pin before I even try it on, because it's going to give me a sense of how far out I am or how close. I'm going to film while I pin, and then I'm going to show you the results as Bo Peep makes it into the city with her city fresh short frock on. Yes, here we go. I'm going to turn the dress inside out and do my very first rough pin before I do my very first shortened dress try on. Now I roughly imagine that it's going to be about that much that I'm going to have to take off. I am likely to be wrong, but it is much better to start with something than to just start with nothing, because if I start with this, I will know where I have to go to make it shorter or longer. So there you go. Now, because the dress is basically an A-frame, it goes out, you will get extras on the seam, when you will get extras on the fold for the hem. I'm going to show you this right now in a second. You will get little folds. Let me just quickly pin that so I can bring it up to the camera. You will get little folds in the wide hem. You can bring that right in, which I've just pinned in there. Just ignore those. Keep maintaining the length of the hem, the same width of the hem as you go around, and you should be absolutely fine. Right, I am going to pin all the way around, and then I'm going to do the first public try on. Yes. So there you go. What this is the hem done its first rough pin all the way around. And as you can see there are extra little bits of fabric. Just ignore those. That comes from the fact that the dress is in an A-frame, and when you turn it up, you get the extras. The extra bits of fabric, just ignore those. You want to just roughly keep the same width on the hem all the way around. Right? What we're going to do right now is we're going to do we, the Queen and her corgis, we are going to do the first public try-on. Hi there, everybody. The slightly spooky news is that there's been a nice little event that actually this is the length that I like. I do like this length for the front. So actually kind of, sometimes this happens and it's this kind of, woo, pick yourself up, the universe. All right, sometimes it's correct first time round, which is a good look, okay? So I'm happy with that. What I do want to do is, because it's bunched up at the back, what I am finding is that the back is slightly shorter. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually, to accommodate for the fact that it bunches up so it gets pushed in at the back, I'm actually going to lengthen the back a little bit, okay? So I'm going to lengthen the back to accommodate for the fact that it gets bunched up, so it's going slightly higher at the back. So it's just a little adjustment like that. As for the front, I'm perfectly happy. What you would do if you weren't happy is, of course, you would just move the hem down or up as you need be. So that would be your second adjustment. I am making a second adjustment to the hem, but I'm making it only for the back, not for the back and the front. I'll do that right now and I'll show you. Yes, the peep makes it to the city. Right, now what I've done here is I've actually laid the dress out from side seam to side seam. So what this is that this is the middle point of the back of the dress. So I know that really from the back of the dress here, I want to have about an extra 2.5 centimeters to accommodate that ride up, that jump up at the back. So I'm going to go like that. And that should give me enough. Okay, I'm pinning that. Right, now what I want to do is I want to make that, I want to tail that down to the sides so that in fact it is actually kind of a nice gradient getting back to the sides, which are in fact correct. There you go. So this is a slightly complicated version. The simpler version of this is your hem is straight all the way around. You don't have a jumpy frock. You don't have a big like tie in at the back, which kind of messes things up. So all you need to do is just make it shorter or longer. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I'm going to sort that gradient out to include the extra length, right? Then I will try on again to show you the difference. Then I will show you a quick trick, basically, on how to iron before you sew so that you can make your life infinitely easier when it comes to hemming. And I'm going to show you the quick and zippy way to hem as well, which is not hand sewing, by the way. Hand sewing is obviously for fabrics where you really don't want to see the actual sewing. Right, there we go. Right, I'm going to try that on and check the adjustments. Okay, let me take that up to you so that you can see that there is a difference in the width of the hem. There is actually a difference. Right, that should work now with the jumping up back of the frock. All right, everybody, that has actually worked. I'll just make sure that you can see the whole length. I'm perfectly happy with that length on the front. The length that was riding up on the back is now more even, and it's because of this thing that a whole lot of fabric gets pulled in, so it jumps back up. So I've put in that extra about 2.5 centimeters in the back, and that actually evens it out to make it look even. So that's just one of the issues that you might face if you have a difference on the sides, okay, if there's different circumstances on the back or the front of the garment. So there you go. Now I'm going to show you what to do to iron and how to do that process quickly. I will machine sew this hem because I'm not fussed at all about seeing the sewing on the front. Marvelous. Even before we actually are going to start hemming or even cutting the hem, a really good thing to do is actually just to iron right now. So what it does is it actually puts everything in place, okay? It puts everything in place before you even sew or even edge anything. And what that does is it makes it much easier to deal with when you are actually hemming, particularly with a hem that has got these little folds in, because they'll be all pre-prepared to be flattened for when you actually put the machine over them. So right now I'm just going to finish ironing all the way around and then show you the next kind of so-called quick sticks way of doing things. There we go. I use a steam iron because it's the safest as well for delicate fabrics. Not that this is delicate, this is just a plain cotton. But what happens here is that very often with very delicate fabrics, if you put the heat low and the amount of steam high, you can still get a safe, very solid iron. Sorry, I shouldn't be teaching people how to iron. That's really pushing it. I know you know how to iron. I'm sorry. There you go. That's all the way around. Just pressing that. Okay. Now, in advance of actually doing the hemming, what I'm going to do is I leave the pins in and I cut all the way around. What I'm doing here is I'm cutting a seam allowance of really only round about 1.5 centimeters. Okay, I know that this fabric is pre-shrunk because I've washed this dress a number of times in its original incarnation. So I'm perfectly confident that it's not going to shrink. So now that I am heading to the city as Bo Peep grows up finally, it will be, I'm fairly confident that I'm not going to want to change the length of the hem. Of course, if you are not fairly confident that you're not going to want to change the length of the hem, and you think you might want to change the length of the hem, then of course cut more, so that if you want to make it longer at any point in time, you absolutely can do that. Right, I'm just quickly whizzing around here, about 1.5 centimeters each way. And what that does, okay, is it prepares the seam for you. Because what you're actually doing is the pins are way up on that side. So I'm just cutting there next to the ironed fold to make it ready to sew. Right. There you go. Now, to keep it incredibly simple, but the useful thing about doing the ironing is that all of the little bits that are kind of effectively become pins and tucks from the A-frame that gets folded in on itself are now really tamed and ready for sewing. Okay, now I'm going to take out the pins. And what I'm going to do now on the machine is I'm simply going to zigzag that edge. I am not double seaming it. I don't see the need. I want a hem that is extremely light. So I'm not going to fold it over. Of course you can if you want, but I'm not going to do that because I want it very light. I'm simply going to take this edge, zigzag it, and then sew it right the way down with a straight stitch. I need to take out the pins to take away from what I've cut away, and there's my hem waiting to be sewn. Now I am just zigzagging the edge of the seam, the edge of the hem there, going across. An atmospheric shot of the sewing machine, I think. And my leg and the tripod are definitely in competition. But anyhow, that's the dark side of filming. Right, here we go. Zoom, 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 zoom. Vroom, 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 all the way around. Once that's all done, I'll show you what to do next. Bravo. Now what I've done is I've zigzagged all the way around, and I'm just going to straight sew. As it happens, because it's already pre-ironed, I'm not actually going to pin it again. If you feel more comfortable pinning it again, absolutely go for it. But because it's pre-ironed, it's pretty much in the right place in the first place, which is one of the enormous advantages of pre-ironing before you start hemming, so that you know exactly where the fold is and it holds its place. I'm just going to straight sew all the way around, and then it's final try on. Final try on, kids. Final try on. Yes. I just want to show you here, when I'm coming to a little fold, it's there, it's pre-ironed. I just hold it down. It's absolutely fine. You can, of course, pre-pin that again if you want. So there you can see, I'm going to hold that right up. Okay, so there you can see, I'm just trying to get that in focus. All right, you can see that the seam has been, that's on the outside. Sorry, the light is coming through it, so it looks a bit sort of funny. But there you go, there's the seam on the outside, and there is the seam on the inside. It's simply flat, all right, and the zigzag is there, okay? All right, now I'm going to do the last iron, all right, which is a good idea, the last iron. I'm not going to show you that because I know you know how to iron. Anyhow, so I'm going to do the last iron and then the last try on. Bo Peep goes to town. All right, everybody, there you go. I'm kind of lurking here in the corner so you can see the full length, all right? This on the front is absolutely fine. All right, in the back, I've actually kind of made it slightly longer because it does get tied in. There you go. As you can see, Bo Peep makes it to the city, which is all good. All right, I hope I don't look like I should be carrying sheep around on a string anymore. That's all good. And just to say thank you for watching. Welcome again to Groundswell Ecosystems YouTube channel. I'm Nicola Kench. I'm here to make a fool of myself in the name of what? In the name of what? In the name of growth. Yes, always in the name of growth. Please, if I have not made anything clear, if you don't understand anything, leave a comment and I'll try and address that next time round. I've got another 2 videos coming up soon regarding how to embellish and decorate things, and then lastly how to entirely restructure a garment. Welcome, as I said, to Groundswell Ecosystems YouTube channel. Project Alteration, Ultimate Home Couture. Make the ordinary extraordinary and covet what you own, because we're glamming it up for Mother Earth. Take care of yourselves step by step. See you soon. Take care.